our power, as long as we breathe, to help people wake up and to protect life, protect our sanctity, our sovereignty, our children, our generations, future generations. It's got to end. And again, I have a wonderful plan. By the grace of the Creator, I've been so blessed. And people should go to www.liveh2o.org. Concert for the Living Water, this coming June 19th to the 21st. Friday is a day about educating from the world's leading experts in the field of water, water science, how we can eliminate all the petrochemical pollution and waste, and the toxicity from the vaccinations and antibiotics through the silver hydrosols such as oxysilver, all of the wonderful things that we can do with water through music and sound, and understanding that water and literally who we are as human beings are vibrating, resonating, and the DNA is actually activating it. And that's the primary function of DNA that they don't want to tell you about because they're making money off of humanity's suffering. That's called genocide.
I've only got one or two other questions. I'm going to let you go. We'll get an update next week from you, Dr. Horowitz. We appreciate all your time. Specifically, they're reporting that Baxter Pharmaceutical and others, that some of their vaccines are grown in Europe. It's legal, and more here it is, on fetal tissue. And then all the reports that you're not just getting whatever the supposed pathogen that the vaccine is designed for, it's all the other DNA and viruses and things
exactly.
that are in the monkey kidneys or the dead babies, and then even if it's the genetic stock that is then being grown on eggs or something later, still it's from that original contaminant. Can you explain to folks what's in vaccines?
Yes. Foreign RNA, foreign DNA from bacteria, virus, fungus, yeast, chicken embryo, bovine fetal serum, monkey kidney tissues, fetal tissues like you mentioned. And then this is the growth medium. So when you grow a virus on this medium, some of the proteins come with it. When it gets injected into your body or your children's bloodstreams, it causes autoimmune reactions. So the whole host of autoimmune diseases, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, lupus, MS, ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, chronic crippling rheumatoid arthritis, adult and juvenile type 1 diabetes, Crohn's disease, Guillain-Barré, Stevens-Johnson syndrome, Bell's palsy. The current plagues have been induced by the #1 genocidal weapon. It's called vaccination. Wake up.
For those that don't know, you just put all that info out, but on every one of those cases, Crohn's disease, Guillain-Barré's, the mainstream government documents admit vaccines are doing it, but they say it's for the greater good, so it's all right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll tell you what. You believe that, I got a bridge you can buy. And gee whiz, unbelievable. This is propaganda. And the reality is that, sadly, the ignorant people will go into fear instead of actually having the knowledge that, and the truth that shall set them free of the pharmaceutical toxicity. They're choosing ignorance. They're choosing to go along with this lunacy and this hypocrisy. Public health is not for you. Centers for Disease Control is actually Centers for Disease Creation. They're creating these germs. They're in bed with the companies that are making the money off of humanity's suffering. That's standard, strict definition of genocide.
All right, Dr. Lynn Horowitz, we'll get a report after you've had your big event and have you back on the show. We appreciate all your time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Alex. Be blessed. Bye-bye.
Thank you. What a great guy. Very, very interesting person, very, very intelligent, and predicted so much accurately. You have to pay attention to what he has to say. Now, coming up, I'm going to play some of the news clips where they're saying martial law, forced inoculations, lockdown of buildings, homes, neighborhoods, towns, cities, counties, states, nation. They're now introducing this to the public. Are they going to do it? They're saying that we're basically under martial law. Now, will they implement those war powers? Will they carry that out? I'll go over Fox, CBS, a bunch of other places where they are pushing this to the public right now. We are simulcasting, by the way, at prisonplanet.tv right now. Let's go ahead and go to one of the founders and the chief engineer over at Acola Blue, Tyler Palmer, for the rest of this segment, a little bit of the next, then bring him to the economy with Bob Chapman and all this martial law that's being announced, that the media is announcing. We got to take this serious. We got to say, no, we're not going to be forcibly inoculated. No, we're not going to your FEMA camps. They're saying even if you're healthy, they're going to try to shoot you up. And then maybe we will have a serious epidemic on our hands because the vaccines have caused so many deaths and so many illnesses and so many pandemics in the past. Yes, they've had smallpox vaccination programs that have spread it. They've had anthrax. I mean, they've had all sorts of problems. And remember, the 76 swine flu shots are what killed the people, not the swine flu. That's on record. But I wanted to go to Tyler Palmer because I wanted to get him on because I get emails every day. I get calls every day. They see the banners up on Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, to Ecola Blue, EcolaBlue.com, E-C-O-L-O Blue, B-L-U-E.com. And I'm not trying to be mean to some of the listeners. I know it's the minority of listeners that don't understand this. They go, how does something suck air, water out of your room? And we have one here in the office, and I had workmen in there putting, some systems in and some appliances in, and they were hooking up a water line to it. And I said, why are you doing that? He said, we just figured this is a water dispenser. It's got a line in the back in case you want it. Then you can put it through the 7 filters inside. It also has those. And I said, no, this grabs out of the air. And they said, humidity in here? It says the humidity in your office is 25%. That won't make any water. Well, it does make about 2.5 gallons a day. In good humidity, it makes 7.5. But that's enough for us here in a pretty big office. But the point is that they couldn't even believe it. The local, workmen, handymen we had in here doing this. Yes, there is water in the air. And if you condense down the 35,000 feet from sea level to 35,000 feet, on average, you're talking 10 feet of water. That's what clouds are. And this hadn't been to the sewage system. It hadn't been to the rivers and lakes. It hasn't been with all the toxins. Then it goes through 7 filters. So I wanted to have Tyler Palmer on with us to explain this to folks. Tyler, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me again, Alex. Isn't it interesting that people understand how it rains, but they're amazed at a water machine that pulls water out of the air? And in fact, that's exactly what it's doing, is mimicking cloud formation and rain.
Well, those moisture evaporators in the South Range better be fixed by midday or they'll be hell to pay. George Lucas certainly understands what they are.
Yeah.
Explain it to people.
Well, it has an intake, an air intake, and the air is filtered through an electrostatic air filter. It's then condensed by a refrigerant coil. The air is. The condensate that comes out of the air is collected in a lower storage tank. That tank has a UV light in there, as well as an air pump now, which we've added. It's then pumped through 3 silver-impregnated carbon filters and 1 reverse osmosis system. Then it's sent up to an upper tank that has a hot water feature and a cold water feature. And it's blasted with 245 nanometer UV light before it comes out and while it's stored. It also has a reflex system, and that keeps the water from sitting. So occasionally it goes on and cycles the water through the system. The idea being that if you're a molecule of H2O in our machine, you're going to get a shot at all the positions in the machine. In other words, you'll be hot water once, you'll be cold water, etc.
Have you heard the latest? I was joking a month ago when you were on with us, they are now saying they want to create a carbon footprint for water, and that water is now bad, basically, just like carbon dioxide is. And if you tell the general public the scientific name of water, most of the public will say ban it.
Right. The dihydrogen oxide. It's true. And, with this H1N1 virus, I was doing a little research on this yesterday, and one of the common ways of vaccinating flocks of birds is to put the vaccine in water. And that would be a really good way to get a population inoculated or doped up with whatever they want to put in the water. And
they've been caught. They've said they want to put Prozac and statins. I've got MSNBC clips and government reports where they go, it's been proven that statins are good for small children now. So-called, for those that don't know, so-called cholesterol medicine that's really bad for your liver. So we're going to look at putting that in your water and they've said the Africans are backwards. I've seen this in the news. We're going to start engineering pharmacological crops where the yam